Hi, Jack from Corner Ring Camera House here. So to a newer photographer or videographer, lenses can be a bit confusing. What do these numbers and letters on the lens even mean, and what are they for? Well, your choice of lens can completely change the look of the shot that you want to take, for better or for worse. Wrapping your head around lenses as well as focal length and aperture can take your photography from looking amateur to pro. So if you're looking to buy a new lens, knowing what it all means will ensure you make the right purchase decision. So let's dive in and get an understanding of what these principles are and how they affect your image. So there are a few main points you'll need to understand to complete a mastery of lenses. First off being, what actually is a lens? Well, a camera lens is an optical body that features a single lens or an assembly of lenses that mounts to a camera body. Some lenses are interchangeable, while others are built into the construction of the camera body. The design of the lens then dictates the look it creates when attached to the camera. So if you look at your lens and wonder why one is so more expensive than the other, then a part of that can be attributed to the design, as well as a few of the points that I'll explain here. Secondly, and perhaps most importantly, is focal length. Focal length refers to the distance between the lens elements and the camera's sensor, which dictates the look you get from it. To put it simply, the smaller the number on the lens, the wider or more zoomed out it'll be. The larger the number on the lens, the more telephoto or zoomed in it'll be. Choosing your focal length is an important factor in deciding what sort of look it is you want. Thirdly is the various types of lenses and focal lengths, and these can be based down into a few categories, which keep in mind do have subcategories, but we'll stick to the basics for now. So zoom lenses such as the 18-55 kit lens or the 24-70 f4 kit lens offer a variety of different focal lengths, and this makes them extremely versatile, which is why many photographers consider them to be essential, especially for traveling photographers who don't want to carry multiple lenses. So why would you want to carry multiple lenses? Well, perhaps you are using prime lenses. Prime lenses have only one focal length. Lenses such as the 35mm f1.8 or the 50mm f1.4 are known as prime lenses. These lenses don't allow you to zoom on your subject, however, because they actually don't zoom, they provide superior image quality. You have less glass elements inside the lens and have smaller aperture value. A better aperture value will mean your low light performance as well as your depth of field will improve, so if you're looking for the best quality around, you might have to invest in a new bag to carry around all your large lenses. Telephoto lenses. Lenses with a larger focal length are called telephoto lenses and offer a greater magnification when shooting subjects that are far away. For example, the 70-200 2.8 lens is often used for wildlife and sports photography, allowing the photographer to zoom in on the animal or athlete when it's not possible to get close to them. This also provides them with a blurry background because of the compression the telephoto focal length provides. Wide-angle lenses such as the 16-35 f4 or the 10-20mm f3.5 have smaller focal lengths and can capture a wider perspective. This makes them suitable for landscape photography or any type of photography where you're shooting in tight spaces like architecture or interior. So if your lens is wide enough, say 12mm, then it begins to distort and take on a quality called a fisheye effect. This can bend straight lines and take your face into looking like something out of Lord of the Rings. Macro lenses allow you to zoom in and focus on the subjects at extremely close distances. Macro lenses such as the 90mm f2.8 micro enable the objects to look larger than life with a greater detail. This is ideal for magnifying insects, flowers or man-made objects and capturing them in extreme detail. So if you're looking to take product shots of jewelry, then a macro lens will prove very useful. So fourthly is your aperture. The aperture is the opening in a lens through which light passes to enter the camera. It's an easy concept to understand if you just think about how your eyes work. So as you move between bright and dark environments, the iris in your eyes either expands or shrinks, controlling the size of your pupil. So the iris of the lens controls how much light is entering into the camera, and this affects your overall exposure as well as your depth of field. For example, a lens with a lower aperture like a 85mm f1.8 will have better low light performance as well as a buttery smooth background. Often lenses with smaller aperture values will be more expensive because they get harder to manufacture with certain focal lengths and zoom combinations. So for example, a 16-35mm will have an f4 version and an f2.8 version. Now the f2.8 version will be more expensive because it's harder and more expensive to create, but keep in mind your glass quality will also be higher as well. Finally, we have the lens mount. So simply put, a lens mount is the opening of a specific size on an interchangeable lens camera designed for that mount. Although for decades, lenses were only mechanically attached to cameras without any electronics, with the rise of digital elements in cameras, it was necessary to create electronic contacts on both the cameras and the lenses to communicate with each other. As a result, lenses became more than just a physical whole, but more like an interface between the cameras and lenses. Now, the most important thing you need to know about lens mounts is there are different types of mounts for different camera systems. So your Nikon lens won't fit on your Canon camera, and your Sony lens won't fit on your Panasonic camera. The only caveat with this is that Panasonic and Olympus both make cameras which are micro four thirds mounts, so you can use them interchangeably. You can, however, adapt lenses onto different mounts. This does come with a cost of performance, but the combinations are almost endless. You need to be aware of what mounts there are for what cameras. So just to make things easier, here's a list of a few of the main ones. So we've covered a lot of topics here, but everything is important to help your understanding of your lens's effect on your image. Your choice of lens is similar to that of a painter's choice of brush. It has a massive impact on your creative process as a photographer or videographer. So when you're out looking for a new lens, keep in mind what your end goal is creatively. Are you wanting to take portraits with a shallow depth of field? Then maybe an 85mm f1.8 will be the way to go. Or do you want to take landscape shots during your hike? Well, maybe a 16 to 35mm f4 is the way to go. But this wild world of lenses can be confusing, but don't worry because we're here to help. If you have any questions about lenses, then feel free to contact us via our social media, our website, or give us a call. We also run Intro to DSLR classes which help you understand some of these principles. Along with this, we also offer one-on-one classes, so if you have any questions in particular, you can just fire them away. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, then go ahead and like it, share it around, as well as follow the page for more content. Happy shooting.